Welcome back to the Fenway Focus. My name is Derek. I am here with Jason. This is a very special episode of the Fenway Focus. This episode was live recorded on Twitter as a Twitter space. I am currently recording this intro after the fact. It was a very fun show. We discussed a lot, had a live trade break in the middle, right in the middle of our show. We had a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone who listened to the live space, and if you listen to the podcast, you'll get to enjoy it in all its glory. So thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the show.
All right, well, here we go. This is going to be a very, very fun show for us. Um, so I guess we can kind of just start off with, I guess we'll say the big stuff. And I'd say that that's the fact that the Red Sox obviously just dropped a series to the Yankees. I think that's the first thing we got to talk about. How do we feel about that? Because I know me and you have talked at length of what this series might look like and what the Red Sox need to do, but obviously dropping 2 out of 3 is not ideal.
I mean, it's not. You're one strike away from taking 2 out of 3, but even then, I think all the games where they were just reflective on like what happens when your bullpen is gassed. Like you get blown saves. Like the Red Sox had 2 blown saves on Saturday, right? Jansen obviously blew the save, and then Cam Boozer blew the save too. And like I said before, it's like your bullpen is taxed. We know that. Everybody has been used so much. Like Bernardino coming into yesterday, pitched 4 of his last 5 games. He pitched 16 pitches, 26 pitches, off day, 9, 17. He wasn't used. Weiser threw 42. He didn't pitch till Tuesday, or since Tuesday, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you wish you had another arm, obviously, but I think at the end of the day, it's just like, it's after the All-Star break, they've been gassed ever since. What about you, Derek?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that big picture, obviously, this isn't the way that they would have liked for the season to have started. I mean, I'm not the season, the series to have gone, and like with the series start, you lose. After losing on Sunday too, it's like this is like I think going into this Mariners series, I think that's not how you wanted to kind of start this run of like the week to the deadline in terms of that. I don't know. We're just in this weird spot now of like, okay, the Mariners are half game behind. We're only a game out, but the Mariners are kind of heating up and they're making moves, and the Red Sox are stuck in this spot of like they're going to make moves, but we're also waiting for guys to get healthy as we have in past years. And I think there is a reasonable doubt in between Red Sox fans of whether or not they are actually going to buy, because as much as me and you have felt like Chaim Bloom, the moves he did make were mostly good, we both know that it was the moves he didn't make that kind of hurt his tenure with the Red Sox.
I don't think it's so much of a question of like if they're gonna buy still. Like they already bought. The question is like, to what extent do they buy? Right? Because there's no way if they were in a selling mode, there's no reason to buy Danny Jansen. There's zero reason. And like you said, Derek, it was not the moves that Chaim made. It was the moves he didn't make. 22, not trading away JD Martinez. 2023, you got Luis Urias. That's it. Like, that was clearly not enough. I know they got Yovera, but like Yovera's not. That doesn't count because he was DFA'd and he wasn't great. It just pay for certainty. I mean, Rob Bradford says it all the time. You got to pay for certainty, especially if the Red Sox are 1 game out of the third wild card, which is like realistically, like, yeah, baseball's a crazy sport to like, one day you can be a game out, the next day you can be 3 up or 3 down. It's a crazy sport, and the Red Sox are in it. Only issue is the third wild card has made it so other teams are going to be buying. It's going to be a seller's market like it was last year. Seller's market. I mean, that's the reality. And look at the relief pitcher market right now. It's heavily inflated. And I think right now the buyers are waiting for it to kind of go down. But like right now, it's just crazy. I know Lesko wasn't having the best of seasons, but it was still Dylan Lesko who was at one point a top pitching prospect for the Padres.
Yeah, and still very well could be that guy.
He could be that guy, but the fact that they moved him is just reflective of like, okay, they set the bar here. Let's go. What do we do? Tanner Scott, like that's the biggest name. The Red Sox, Jim Bowden reported today that the Red Sox were in on him. I believe McAdam and Cotillo said they weren't. So at the same time, it's like Bowden says one thing, Cotillo and McAdam say another thing. Take both of them with a grain of salt. Trust the big media, I guess. I mean, I'm not saying don't trust like Cotillo. Like you should trust them just as much as you trust any of us per se. But
basically, it's what I told you earlier this morning of like the Red Sox could be doing something that nobody has any clue outside of like Breslow and maybe 3 other people, right? Like there's also that case too where they're being very hush hush about it, and we don't want anyone to know that we're trying to get this guy.
Yeah, they move in silence. They work in silence, I should say, right? The Verdugo trade came out of nowhere. The O'Neill trade came out of nowhere. They trade in silence. Like that's just a fact.
The Danny Jansen trade.
The Danny Jansen came out of thin air. Dom Smith was kind of rumored for a while. I'm just thinking of in-season acquisitions.
But that's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but like,
exactly.
but still, you know, they work in silence, which is a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. And in like the mindset of like, yeah, is no news good news, or does no news mean they're not trying to do anything? You know, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but like, I don't know. I feel like unless it's like Passan and like, or Rosenthal or like any of the big guns, take anything you hear from anyone else with a grain of salt. Because like now it's like, you know, we're less than 48 hours away from the deadline. Take everything you hear or see with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too that, like, for example, I've set my expectations of like, give me Dylan Floro. If you get someone better, that's amazing. Or someone who's like similar, like great. And if you get a bat, whether it's IKF who can help out in the middle infield, help out play maybe a little bit of shortstop to help, maybe Rafaela can play more outfield or just help him there, or get like a bat, whether it's like, I know Connor Joe was rooming at one point, and that's a guy I like, but like, get me something like that, and if it's better, amazing, right? But I'm not pushing for like this needle moving deal, because as much as we want to say the Red Sox are going to buy, they're not going to be this all-in team that's going to make some crazy splash for a rental. Like we have to be honest with ourselves and look at this team and go, if in a realistic chance this team gets into the playoffs and they're hot, they're going to be a pain in the ass to play against with their speed and
absolutely
whatnot. But at the same time, this isn't, we're not the Dodgers who are like clear favorites on paper, right? That doesn't mean they shouldn't buy, but don't expect some earth-shattering move out of the Red Sox, because it's not going to happen.
Right. And like they haven't done anything with pitching since 2021, really. Right. They got Hanzo Robles, which was a solid move. It was like your typical like rental relief pitcher. He sucked early on, but then he was really good in September, and then the playoffs, we all know. They brought him back for 22, but whatever, that's irrelevant. They didn't really do anything in 22, right? Am I missing something?
No, not that.
No, they didn't.
Oh, no, they know what they did. No, they traded Jake Diekman away.
Oh wow, they traded Jake Diekman away for Reese McGuire. Yippee-ki-yay, as you say.
That was probably that might have been the best trade of the Chaim Bloom era. I'm just saying that might have been the best trade.
Okay. Aside from that, but my point is the Red Sox can literally stop right now, honestly, and could I see it? Honestly, maybe. Do I want it to happen? No. I want them to add more because they have to. I just feel like it's malpractice if they don't add a bigger piece, because let's be honest, like Danny Jansen, it's a good addition. He was great yesterday. He was great last night, but was it a big problem that we needed to fix? No, it was one of the least of our problems. However, he is still a good addition. And then they just traded for Paxton, which is like, okay, he was DFA'd, whatever. You traded him for a lottery ticket prospect. You took on 1.4 million, whatever that was. You can make the argument that the Red Sox did their trade deadline stuff now. Do I want that to happen? Like I said, no. But at the same time, they can say, "Oh, look, we got a right-handed bat and we got a pitcher. See, we're doing it." And I know Sam Kennedy said Sox would add if they got the right deal. Yeah, the right deal. After the deadline, they can go and say, "Oh, we just didn't get the right deal." So I just hate people saying, "Oh, look, it's Sam Kennedy adding." I don't know, man. I'm conflicted. Maybe in the next hour we'll get a move. Maybe in the next couple of minutes we'll get a move. Maybe Craig's on the phone. But Breslow's got to be on the phone. He's got to gauge certain like markets. But we had an interesting conversation yesterday that was basically the Sox don't really. We're talking about like middling like prospects like value wise. You want to elaborate more? I think you had a better explanation of that, Derek.
Yeah, well, I just want to quickly touch on the fact that like to like the Red Sox, like they're probably not done, but like the moves they made are like, yes, they're minor moves, but you could argue like you could take 50 Johan Ramirez's, go ahead, right? You can never get enough pitching depth, right?
Absolutely.
So I know me and you talked about that outside of recording, but like there's like guys like that, like those trades people lose their minds about. It's like there's no point of losing. It's like you can never have enough pitching. In terms of prospects and trading away from like your organizational depth, the Red Sox are very deep infielder wise, especially up the middle. Or guys that are like shortstops, but like are they gonna stick at shortstop? Like Cutter Coffee, for example. Even Edinson Paulino falls into that mix because realistically he was probably trending more towards second base, third base. Well, he was if he was going to stay with the Red Sox because there's no way he was playing shortstop with Marcelo Meyer being the ideal long-term option. So like that's a place where they can very well maybe we make a move out of like that group. I don't think Christian Campbell's in that group necessarily because I think he's exceeded that group. But it's like even like Nick York kind of falls in that middle infield group somewhat. The guys who are either Rule 5 eligible, middle infielders or infielders, or like the guys sitting around like the kind of double A, high A kind of bubble where it's like okay, it's like Cutter Coffee in high A, Paulino in double A. Those teams are stacked, especially. Or you're looking on the pitching side, they can move off of some of their pitching. They have a lot of pitching that's moved up from Salem to Greenville this year, and a lot of guys that have moved up from Greenville to Portland. And they probably got a guy in like Hunter Dobbins moving up from Portland to Worcester. And Dobbins could potentially be a move guy as much as we both love him. He's a great guy. But he is Rule 5 eligible this offseason. Bastardo probably not because he needs Tommy John, but like a Connolly Early who just got moved up could potentially be, a name to watch. Or even like Isaac Coffey, Hayden Mullins even. ERC, I don't think they'd trade ERC, but guys like that, Jetix and Pyers are names. Those guys are Dalton Rogers. They're all names to watch because they're on that kind of short, like Greenville right now. If you kind of look at their pitching, they have so many guys right now where it's like, okay, they can definitely move one of them and not be at like between ERC, Yordani Magro, Jetix and Pyers, Blake Wehunt, Hayden Mullins, Dalton Rogers, Noah Dean. Like that's 7 guys right there. They only play 6 games a week, right? And then they just bumped up to, and then they bumped Sandlin up to Portland. They just bumped Early up to Portland. They already have Wilkelman and Isaac Coffey there. And then Hunter Dobbins is probably going to get moved up to AAA. But then even in Salem, they still have a bunch of guys in Salem as well that wouldn't be shocked if a couple of them end up getting moved to Greenville before the end of the year. So they have that depth to where they can move off of even pitching in the kind of more so high A spot. Those high A guys are more likely to get moved. Not that they're going to move a ton of those guys, but if you're trading for a reliever and the team you're trading with wants a pitching prospect back, the Red Sox can move a pitching prospect if they need to. But I think they'd more likely prefer to stick in the kind of middle infielder. I don't think Blaze Jordan gets traded, but he's a name to watch because he is Rule 5 eligible. You never know with those guys. Guys, even Chase Maidroth, the guy who's kind of blocked to the big leagues. Obviously, Emmanuel Valdez was brought up in the Nate Pearson trade discussions. I think Nick York has played his way out of being traded. Matthew Lugo's a name to watch. He's Rule 5 eligible as well. Guys along those lines, I think, are guys to watch in terms of who's going to get traded. And then obviously your lower kind of high A. I mean, by lower I mean lower minor prospects, like your high A and low A guys. Those guys are always potentially at risk. But the guys who aren't going to get traded, I'd probably put my money on the big three not getting dealt. Paralis because he needs Tommy John. Blaze probably doesn't get dealt. Campbell doesn't get dealt. I doubt Cespedes gets dealt, and I would highly doubt Franklin Arias gets dealt. Those are my locks on who's not getting dealt.
I don't think any of the big guns, but at the same time, if you're a team negotiating a trade and you see all the diamonds, it's like the Red Sox are a team with like a bunch of diamonds, and then they offer to you some some lesser value item, and it's like, well, I see the diamonds in the background. I mean, we talk about that, and then the Red Sox probably like, yeah, no, you're not touching them. So it's interesting, but for the right guy, I'd move a Christian Campbell, but it has to be the right guy. But who is the right guy? I don't know.
That's the issue.
That's the issue. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think too, the Red Sox have a lot of high value guys, but they don't have a ton of guys where it's like, oh, you could package like 3 of them together and get a Jack Flaherty. I don't necessarily think they have just like 3 guys who you can go, this makes a great package for like a Jack Flaherty, right? Because like you could start looking in their system and go, oh, well, you have like Fitz isn't getting traded. He's in AAA. They're going to add him to the 40-man this offseason. Sandlin, they just traded for. They're not getting rid of him. So it's like, okay, who do they trade? It's like, it's like I don't know who they trade. They have like the very high top end that's almost too good to trade unless it's a blockbuster, which I've already said they're not going to do. And then they kind of have that gap between like they don't have a lot of like guys around if you were to make like an MLB total prospect rankings, they don't have a ton of guys who sit in like the 2 to like 300 range of like that kind of type of prospects. They have a lot in like the top like 100, a lot of like borderline, just fringe outside the top 100, depending on where you look. Guys or guys that are getting helium towards that, like a Franklin Arias, for example, who some scouts, I think this is per Sox. I don't know. I think this is Sox prospects. I'm not sure though, but some scouts had him said that if Franklin Arias was in this past draft, he would have been a top 5 pick. So that kind of shows you where the helium is on him. So like they have a lot of guys who are at that kind of top level prospect, but they don't have a lot of guys where it's like, oh, this guy's a very solid guy in AA, where him plus 2 other maybe high A or low A pieces is going to net you a guy like a Flaherty, right?
Yeah,
Nick York
I feel
maybe falls into that, but he's almost
York, maybe Mydroth, maybe,
yeah. But even then, Mydroth is a high floor, low ceiling guy, so his value is also somewhat capped in terms of a trade.
Yeah, and the one thing I also wanted to mention is like I know we've said it on the show many times, but now that we're live, I think it's interesting that the Sox have a lot of like 40-man moves to make next year. Nick York, what's his face? Richard Fitz, Blaze Jordan's Rule 5 eligible, Matthew Lugo. You're going to have to add Michael Fulmer because he was signed to a minor league deal for 2 years. So you have to add him. That's already 5.
Luis Guerrero's another
Guerrero's interesting.
Yep. Luis Guerrero, I think Zeverjohn is too.
Zeverjohn, yeah. Is ERC?
No, Monegro they have to add, I would believe.
ERC's next year though.
No, ERC is
next year. Yeah.
I think so,
yeah. Penrod.
This year,
Dobbins.
Yeah, Dobbins.
Anyways, there are a lot of guys that they have to consider adding.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, there is. We've talked about it. Not that they would add this many guys, but there's like there's up to like 10 guys that you would give consideration to. They wouldn't add all of them, but like there's like probably about 10 guys that you would look at and go, we probably don't add this guy, but like someone could take him.
Yeah, and then looking at the 40-man roster, you have Johan Ramirez, Danny Santana's a free agent, Paxton, Wingenter, Westbrook, Keller, Dom Smith, Bailey Horn. I'd imagine they keep Boozer. Heineman's probably he has one more option actually, so that's probably no. He's going to use it up, so he's probably gone.
He might be gone.
He's gone. Romy's interesting. He has 2 options. O'Neal, that's 10. Kenley's 11. Martin's 12.
They'll have a lot of spots freed up, but the issue is those spots can fill up very quickly, and then also, here's the other thing,
and you have to do the
They're
stuff with the
losing-
60 days too. The 60
but
day
not
guys
you
too.
got to reinstate guys from the 60 day.
Pavetta.
Well, yeah, but like Giolito, Mata, Murphy, Whitlock are all going to be on the
Costas
60
is going to
days.
need a spot too.
Story. They already have 5 guys who are likely done for the year. In terms of Story, Giolito, Mata, Murphy, and Whitlock. I mean, Mata maybe not, but like it's Brian Mata. I can't bank. I love him, but I cannot bank on him on ever being healthy.
Yeah, it's the time's running out.
Yeah, but so in my opinion, they probably have 5 guys who are going to be on the 60 day the rest of the year.
He's accumulated almost 1 year of service time, and he hasn't pitched a single inning in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's rough, but I mean that's the scare that I bring up with Luis Perales in terms that like this year he's on the 40 man. That's his first option because they sent him down. Then next year they're going to send him down to the minors. He'll be on the 60-day injured list in the minors. So that'll be 2 options they've used on him. And then does he come back next year? Maybe, but it might not be till the end of the year. So then there's the 3rd option in 2026 that's going to get used on him. So then really, so if he gets another injury, he's pretty much, it's like he could end up in that Mata situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's why
scary.
it's like it's interesting because like Derek, your take it or leave it deal for a Jack Flaherty is Luis Perales and Nick York, take it or leave it.
It's probably not Nick York anymore. It's probably Mikey Romero at this point.
Mikey Romero's interesting.
I think York now is probably more valuable than Mikey Romero.
Yeah.
Because Romero's going to be, let's be honest, if everything goes according to plan, which you can't necessarily say, but like if everything goes close to according to plan, Mikey Romero might be the most blocked guy in the entire organization because here's why. You look ahead of him and you have the Meyer, Christian Campbell, Nick York, that group, right? The AA and AAA.
You have like the guys who are like making the jump, and then you have like
But then behind him, you look down in the minor leagues. He's in high A. You look down to Salem, and I know Yuelen Cespedes is probably out for the rest of the year, but you have him. Franklin Arias is when we say a guy's got helium, Franklin Arias might have the most helium out of like any prospect in baseball right now. The amount of helium he has to his name is insane. So
he could be top 100 by opening day. Or he could
very
well be top 100 by opening day next year.
Yeah, that's how, if he continues hitting in Salem, like he will. I think he will be. It's crazy.
Fangraphs currently has the Red Sox farm system at 5. I wouldn't be shocked if that went to freaking 3. No way it goes top. No way it's 2 or 1. The Rays are going to be 1.
It's so insane though because there's Reds like they're adding Brady Montgomery as well. There's another,
and they're adding Brady Montgomery too.
Yeah,
but like
the farm system.
But yeah. And here's my argument: like, trade some guys, help the big league team. Like, there's a logjam that's starting to happen. Like, you saw Cutter Colfie get traded. You saw Paulino get traded.
And those are the guys I think they're going to trade, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where you kind of look in that sense. If you're looking at the Red Sox, you're looking at who's going to be valuable in terms of trading, who makes sense to trade, right? Obviously, like we said, they're not making. You only trade the big guys if it's a big move, and they're not making that kind of move right now. So Meyer, Anthony, Teal are probably all off the table.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about this so many times how the Red Sox, if they're making a big move, it's probably not until the offseason. Whether it could be a Willier get traded. We've talked about Duran getting traded, but the longer I think about it, the more I start to think no, because the year he's having is literally insane. And unless you get an actual ace for him, it's gonna there's almost no justification that you can make to trading him.
Yeah,
but Willier very well could be an option this offseason. I mean, David Hamilton, even although
I
I don't
think
think
you do move Hamilton in the offseason.
I mean, Christian Campbell maybe could be an option depending on the trade, but I don't love it because he's still rising. But his value is somewhat limited in terms of trade because teams aren't going to look at him as a shortstop. Teams are going to look at him as a second baseman or outfielder, right? And so that kind of hurts his value. Don't think Blaze is weird. You can't really look at Blaze's numbers in high A because it's a short time period, and he's kind of been a little bit unlucky in terms of like batted ball luck. He's kind of hit some balls right at people, and he's been kind of pretty unlucky in that sense. And then Cespedes isn't going anywhere. You don't trade someone with Cespedes' tools when they're. The Dodgers learned this with O'Neal Cruz. You don't. Although O'Neal Cruz is a little bit different because he's massive, but like you don't trade someone with tools like that when they're in like low A. You just don't. Tatis, the White Sox with Tatis.
Yes.
Right? You don't trade a guy with tools like that when they're in low A. If you trade them when they're in like double A. Because then they've proven they can play at least at double A. And
It's not even proven. It's just like they know more because the double A is such a developmental step in like player development. Like that's like the biggest jump. We say it time and time again. Like your performance in double A is probably one of the closest, if not the closest level to like actual big league competition, because in high A and low A, it's like, okay, there are 3 or 4 guys in the lineup that are really good, or there are 1 or 2 good pitchers. Double A, it's like throughout the order, like you have great hitters 1 through 9. Rotation is really good. It's really talented. So is the bullpen. That's why. That's one of the main reasons why.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, people say AAA is talented, but the jump from high A to double A is a much bigger jump than the jump from double A to AAA. And
especially with the Red Sox.
Yeah, always. Well, here's the thing too. You look at, for example, look at Nick York going from double A to AAA, right? He's taken a jump offensively, right? Now that could be because Worcester's very hitter friendly, who knows? But like even still, like Matthew Lugo's still playing amazing in AAA. He doesn't have a 1,000-something OPS because he was never going to continue that for an entire season, even in double A.
Yep,
but he's still got like an 850 OPS in AAA, right? Look at what Rafaela did last year in AAA.
Oh, here we go. Hunter Knoll just said we've got trade action, folks.
I love Hunter. Mm-hmm. So I know Hunter knows something. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also, funnily enough, Jake Diekman got DFA'd by the Mets.
Yep, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, that's a fun one. But other than that, we'll see. But yeah, like I said, they're in a very.
We're gonna figure what this is pretty soon, I feel. But anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm also nervous because like one could argue, and I'm saying one could argue, not I argue, one could argue that the Red Sox messed up the deadline in 21, 22, and 23. Right? 21, you got Schwarber, sure, but he was hurt. Right? And he didn't come back when the Red Sox were struggling. And remember, that Sox team was 1 game away from missing.
I take back everything I said about Nick York.
He's getting traded, isn't he?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I take back everything. I didn't say anything about him. I didn't say he wasn't going to get traded. Just in case. I'm prepping in case it's actually happening. Hunter's typically good on this stuff. So, you know. And he said, man, what? Hunter just said, man, the Pirates are an interesting team. I wonder if that's red. You know what's interesting, actually, now that Hunter says that?
Schemes?
No. Shut up. No. Tim has been in the Pesky Report chat losing his mind for Colin Holderman. He's like, Colin Holderman. I want Colin Holderman. Just constantly. Colin Holderman. So,
Something's
It's-
going down.
Something potentially might be with Nick York. I don't know if Hunter actually that Pirates tweet was related by Hunter, but I trust Hunter enough, and there's a couple other people that I just messaged
Who Connor Joe?
dude, I'm telling you that would. I don't know if York just for Joe is like
There
that
has
might
to
be a
be
little bit
more.
much. Yeah, but like no, that's okay. Go get Joe and Holderman maybe.
Jack
I don't know.
Sawinski just options in the minor leagues too. I'm just looking at
Yeah,
their.
I mean, it's interesting. If York's getting dealt, that's interesting. Holderman though is really valuable. It's probably not Holderman. He's actually really
There's
valuable.
no way. Yeah.
It's not Holderman. I wonder what about Bednar? He's only got 2 years after this year. He's having
Bednar,
a bad year.
yeah.
This could be interesting.
He hasn't pitched all week.
That's interesting.
I take that back. He pitched yesterday.
Oh, damn it! Never mind.
Rules Chapman,
You know what's
welcome to the
hilarious?
Boston Red Sox.
It's gonna be someone random like Jared Triol. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Shut up.
I just love messing with you. It could be Connor Joe though.
What about Jared Jones?
No, it honestly.
No way. There's no way they do that. No way they do that.
No, it legitimately could be Connor Joe for Nick York straight up. Now that I'm looking at it, it could just be straight up.
What does trade value say?
Trade values has Joe at 5.8, York at 3.8, but I assume York's probably risen a little bit. We're just hypothesizing, but
I think Bednar is interesting. He has 2 more years of team control, but there's no way.
There'd have to be another piece.
Yeah.
Middlebrooks just tweeted out, "How do we feel about adding a starter and moving Pivetta to the arm barn?"
The arm barn.
That's interesting because typically.
Oh my fucking god! What if it's Martin Perez?
No, it's not. Shut up. No. But here's what that actually is interesting because for this one reason, right? Hypothetically, if if the price for bullpen arms is so astronomically high, but the price for starters somehow isn't like super high for whatever reason.
Boom, Pivetta the pen. Yeah.
It might what I'm saying is it might actually somehow cost less to get a decent starter than a decent reliever, which is totally weird. I know we talked last night about how like my dream team is having kind of like that 2015 Royals bullpen where you just have like your bullpen just like amazingly deep and just like stellar, where like you can literally bullpen your way to a World Series. That Royals team, you want to say who their best starting pitcher was that year? Because it wasn't Johnny Cueto, because they traded for him at the deadline, and outside of he was decent, he was solid in the postseason. He had the good 9-inning game in the World Series, but he was only there for 13 starts in the regular season, and he had like a 4.70 ERA. You want to remind everyone who the best starting pitcher on that team was, if you remember.
Remind them.
Edinson Volquez, who, don't get me wrong, decent MLB career, but best starter on a World Series team?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I have some unrelated news. The Wild just freaking extended Brock Faber to 8 years, $68 million. That's 8.5 AAV. That's off topic.
Woo.
That's crazy.
Woo-hoo-hoo. I like Faber though.
Anyways, MLB show, continue.
Yes. But no, this is the Red Sox though, honestly, if I'm going to be 100%.
Oh my god. Who? Oh wait. Nick York. Oh, Quentin. Oh.
What's the passing tweet? It's not showing up for me.
Look.
Quinn Priester. Hell yeah.
I'll take Quentin Priester. Let's go.
I will take. Okay, here we go. Time to make moves. Here we go.
He's
a starter. He's a starter.
I like that trade.
You know what? He's a starter. Guess what? You know what he has?
Aura?
No, he's got team control. He's got 5 years after this year.
I like this.
He's got team control. This is perfect. I know he's probably this. No, this is perfect. You know why? This is actually perfect. He's on the 40 man. They actually, he's been pitching out of the bullpen. He has not been great this year, but he has not been great in terms of big leagues this year. In terms of, he's got a 5.04 ERA, but 4.80 FIP. It's not great. 4.14 SIERA is better, but he's 23 years old, and you know what he does? You know what profile he fits?
The Breslow Bailey Willard profile.
Yeah, sinker slider majority. He's also got a fastball, cutter, and changeup. That sounds like a Breslow Bailey guy to me. There's upside there. They got to get the walks in check. In terms of, or not the walks, sorry, the hits in check. I just saw his whip and I'm like, well,
ERA's a 5 this year.
Yeah, no, it's not a this year move. This is like a long term like guy who could potentially start, like be a back end of your rotation starter next year potentially.
Great trade.
He's got 5 years of control, and for Nick Yorke, who is clearly blocked, right? Clearly blocked. You get someone who also Priester elite ground ball pitcher, 55% ground ball rate. The issue is hard contact, but the issue is fastball stinks. So that's number one. His fastball stinks. They're gonna get him to stop throwing it. Hitters are hitting 409 against his fastball this year.
Ew.
To be fair, it's only singles, but still.
I love this trade.
No, that's trading from depth. There it is.
Yep, there we go.
His changeup is really good against lefties. His slider he throws against righties and lefties.
You know what this could mean?
All right.
Promotion season.
That too. Yes. So his fastball sucks. They're gonna scrap that. His changeup is good against lefties. That's a keep. His slider they might tinker with because there's not less than a 6 mile per hour difference between his slider and fastball. So there's that, and then you might tinker with the sinker a little bit because his sinker's getting hit, but it's also he is leaving his sinker over the middle of the plate a little bit too much, or a lot of it too much. So, but that's a very that's not a buy trade per
Does he have
se.
options?
Yes, he's got 2 options, but that's your that's very much a
That's what Breslow was talking about.
yes.
That's exactly what Breslow was talking about.
Because you trade from a lot. Don't get me wrong, the Red Sox are going to make more moves, and I think they probably don't love the starting pitching market. I'm not going to lie, I don't either. Because here's the thing: there's only so many guys available, right? And we were talking about this. Like, if you say Kikuchi's your best option, I don't want it. Right?
Nope.
Like Flaherty's probably out of the Red Sox range a little bit in terms of what they're willing to do. So like you're there's not many options. I'll take Priester. They can put him in the Chase Anderson role for the rest of this year while they tinker some things with him. And then remember, there's still more than 24 hours before the trade deadline. Things will still happen.
Yeah. Dude, I think Weisert's getting sent down.
Oh, absolutely.
Has to be, no? Because your active roster. Yeah, no, it has to be. And Bailey Horn must be getting sent down.
Oh,
or Cam Boozer, and then you phantom injury.
Someone is because, but yeah. See, I'll see Hunter's on board with the trade. See, when Hunter is on board with trading a prospect, that's how you know it's a solid deal. Per BTV, Priester's at 4.4 million surplus value. Yorke's at 3.8. So, kind of even. It sucks to see Yorke go, but I think the Red Sox, both former first round picks. Priester first round pick in 2019, Yorke in 2020. You know.
Oh. We have some news. Hearing the White Sox are close on a deal. This is Daryl Van Schoen. He's the beat writer for the Sun Times. I'll post it in the space.
Yeah, because I don't know who the heck you just said. But no,
It looks like he's reputable.
yeah. The oh yeah, no, he absolutely is. He's reputable. But no, here's the thing though on the Priester deal. This is like the one thing that I think. No, I mean not the one thing, but this is one of the things you probably would have liked the Red Sox to do a little bit more from out if you're like Chaim Bloom was trade from your depth. Priester this year has been better than he was last year. He's got almost 100 innings in the big league, so his big league experience, although it's with the Pirates, it doesn't say much. I think they're gonna drop that fastball. That fastball stinks. It's bad.
Yeah.
That fastball's bad. The slider has the curveball's been decent, although he hasn't really thrown it a ton. It's the curveball. None of his pitches are great outside of the changeup against lefties, but he only throws his changeup against lefties. So I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, it's a guy you can tinker with, improve on, fits the profile, right? So I think in that sense, like no issues.
Well, 3-team trade with the Cardinals and Dodgers. Eric Fetty, Tommy Edman. So the thing I talked about yesterday was right.
Wow. It's close. It's close.
We chose the perfect time to go live.
Oh, absolutely. This is kind of breaking into a trade deadline.
Quinn Priester's Savant page. There's a good amount of red.
Yeah. Good chase rate. Doesn't walk a ton of guys. Misses barrels. And barrels are hard hit and like good launch angle. And great ground ball rate. Obviously, the hard hit rate needs to drop, and he could use more strikeouts. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. He's kind of your typical like sinker ground ball pitcher right now, who's kind of struggling with some hard hit stuff as a young pitcher, which they can. Like I said, I think they'll tinker. They're gonna drop that fastball. Like I said, that fastball stinks. The curve, they might even drop the curveball. That curveball's terrible. Like the hitters are hitting 400 against the curveball. They might drop it too. But overall, I can see where they're gonna. I can see where they can tinker with him and like get some things right. He's the kind of he like that. I see where they can change some things and whatnot. I see where they're going with that. If that makes sense.
I love this. Trading middle infield depth for pitching depth, like good pitching depth that they can work with. That's perfect.
No, it's exactly what you're looking for. This year in AAA, he has been good. 3.21 ERA, 2.85 FIP, 3.07 xFIP. It makes sense. In terms of like it makes total sense. This isn't your deadline buy move. This is you're moving off from a guy who, let's be honest, and as much as I love Nick York, was gonna be absolutely log jammed for a start. And you can, like we always say, you can never have enough pitching. There's your pitching, right? Just keep on adding pitching, right? You can never have enough. And I think that's what we're looking at there with Priester. And you know what he can do right about now for the Red Sox? You know what he can do? He can eat innings.
Jack Flaherty was scratched from his start tonight.
That's just probably precautionary.
Yeah.
They don't want him getting injured the day before the trade deadline. Let's be honest. Like, come on. If you have a starter and you let him get injured, let him pitch before the trade deadline, and he gets injured, you're an idiot. I'll just say that.
Why do they say John Flaherty? I know that's a technical name. It's Jack Flaherty.
I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not some genius here. But no, I like the Priester move. I like that. It's not gonna blow the roof off, but it's a solid like add in terms of like of what you're moving off of and what you're adding in terms of pitching. Like I said, there's stuff you got to work on. Absolutely, do not get me wrong. There is stuff you got to work on with him, but you can. He's almost in a similar situation as York almost, because he used to be a highly thought of prospect. He's had his struggles, but you can still see upside. Right?
John Heyman just tweeted a Flaherty trade is expected soon.
But still, it would still be
stupid. To your point,
it'd still be stupid if I had a starting pitcher, right, and he's pitching the day before the trade deadline, and I'm selling and I want to trade him. You know what I'm not doing? I'm not letting him pitch. like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that don't make any sense to me that they were even gonna pitch him. Like, they should have done it anyways. But I think but back to Priester for one last kind of second with him is that with this trade now, this screams Bailey and Breslow and Willard. Cannot forget Justin Willard.
Yep.
This screams those guys, and I think he's been better as of late. I want to look at his game logs and look at like his last, because his expected xWOBA has been better as of late. He had a bad last outing. No, not necessarily. He hasn't necessarily been better. They've been starting him though for the most part. And then they stopped starting him. Oh, this is weird.
So
are they using him as an opener? Then they kind of moved him to bullpen.
Yeah,
he had a good 3 appearance stretch, but he's okay. So this is what it looks like with Priester, right?
Jordan, yeah. Jordan's tweet was perfect. He mentioned that Tyler Glasnow had a 5.79 career ERA when he was traded to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. No, exactly, right. But here's so Priester, his first appearance of the year, he gave up 4 earned and 4 1/3. Then he goes 6 of no runs. Then he goes, 6 with 2 earned. Then 4 and 2/3, 3 earned. Right. Then 6 and 4 earned. Then it's 4 and 2/3 of 4 earned. It's not great, but it's not horrific, right? He's not getting totally crapped on. Then 6 and 2, right? 6 innings, 2 earned. 2 innings, 1 earned. 1 inning, none. Clean inning, and then his last appearance was where he really kind of got shelled. He gave up 4 innings. He gave up 5 earned, right? But this is a guy that you can like I've said, you can tinker with him, you can fix him. There's stuff there's stuff to say, oh, we can change this, we can scrap the fastball because it stinks, and he doesn't throw it that much anyways. He only throws it 15% of the time. You bump that changeup's been really, really good this year against lefties. Have him throw the changeup more. Maybe tinker with the curveball, slider, the breaking pitches. And then maybe just get focus on sinker command, because if you look at his heat map on Savant, it kind of the big red circles right over the heart of the plate. So just work on maybe command with the sinker, and there's very much stuff to like there. So
upside,
yes.
A lot of upside.
Dude,
looking at that fucking fastball. Yeah, they're gonna say, the fastball you throw. Yeah, you're not throwing that pitch again.
Yeah, no, actually, literally.
Yeah, he's done. Oh my god.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Fucking a 409 batting average against this fastball.
Yeah, he's not throwing that fast. He might never throw that fastball again. Okay, to be fair though, the funny part is he has nine hits off his fastball. They're all singles though, which is kind of hilarious.
You think Perales could be on the move?
No, probably not. He does have a 45% whiff rate with his curveball. He mostly only throws it to lefties though. But like I said, like we were saying, this upside Breslow, Bailey, Willard profile makes sense. And I'll just kind of go over it again. Elite ground ball rate, elite job at elite barrel rate in terms of missing barrels. Does struggle with hard hit rate, but barrel rate is launch angle and it being hard hit. The hard hit rate, he needs to improve on that. But he also doesn't walk a ton of guys. Gets a decent amount of chase. Not a ton of swing and miss right now. I wonder how much of that is because of his fastball being terrible. And it's him being a bit of a sinker pitcher that doesn't totally help because he's kind of his sinker isn't much swing and miss, but does more than probably any other pitch outside of his changeup elicit less. It gets the best results out of every pitch other than his changeup and maybe his slider, right? So there's stuff you can work on, and he can eat innings right now.
Yeah.
He can eat innings. That's what the Red Sox need. So overall, we'll take it. I don't know where we want to go now because now this got interesting. This is very interesting. So on the 3-team deal, the Cardinals are getting Eric Fetty
Makes
from the
sense.
White Sox. The Dodgers are getting Tommy Edman from the Cardinals, and then the White Sox are getting prospects from both teams.
Also, speaking of the Cardinals, can we take a flyer on Giovanni Gallegos?
No, dude. I take as many guys as you can take flyers on, especially if they have a track record like Gallegos has. Just take a flyer on them. If they're bad, it can't be worse than what Weisert's been, right? I mean, you can, but like, come on, let's be honest, right? Like, you might as well take a flyer on them, and if they don't work, you can just DFA them, just like the Cardinals did. Like, and the Cardinals DFA'd him to save money to use what seemingly now they've used that money opening on Eric Fetty, which tells me they don't want to go over anything. They don't want to pay no tax, no nothing. So it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just say it again. Can never have enough pitching, right? I'll take 50 Johan Ramirez, 50 Giovanni Gallegos, 100, whoever the heck they are. Because, like, you take chances on enough of those guys. Brennan Bernardino, right? Someone like that. Cam Boozer, Bailey Horn, right? These guys aren't necessarily, some of these guys aren't, Bailey Horn's not great, but, like, he's given you a couple innings. Should he be pitching in high leverage? Absolutely not. But, like, he's pitching a little bit in the big leagues. He's minor league depth on a healthy bullpen, right? You need that, right? You need that. It gives you depth, right? Bailey Horn should not really be on a big league roster, but minor league depth, you can't complain if he's in my. I mean, Cooper Criswell was, what they signed him for what, $1 million? Like,
it was roughly $1 million.
About $1 million. Like, that's taking a flyer on someone. Sign a free agent sign a 28-year-old free agent. Oh, he was 27 at the time. Sign a 27-year-old free agent for $1 million on a 1-year deal. That's taking a flyer on someone. So, Zach Kelly, right? Like the Red Sox have proven that you can and should take flyers on these guys. It's not all of them are gonna hit. Do not get me wrong. No, most of them probably won't, but you will still get some guys who hit, and I think that's the big thing. You will get some guys who become at least a valuable part of your bullpen picture, right? Boozer, for example. Ideally, is he on the big league team as much as he has been? Probably not, right? But he's given them valuable innings for the most part, right? And when everyone's healthy, he's great depth to have in AAA. Great depth. Same thing with, Zach Kelly, except Kelly's a little bit better, right? Kelly as a middle reliever is amazing. Should he be late in games? Probably not. But you need those guys to get to the back end of the bullpen. So, with that sense,
Okay,
like, you
I'm
need these guys.
starting to think that they're. I'm just thinking what this means for next year.
For next year?
Yeah.
Nothing necessarily, because let's be honest, are they going to bring back Nick Pivetta?
Bye-bye.
Probably not.
Have a
James
nice day.
Paxton's in that rotation right now. He's not coming back.
Miguel Vargas is going in that deal. Whoa.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. That's not surprising. But like, yeah, you do have Giolito. Like, is Whitlock going to go back in the rotation?
You can't do that again. He needed internal brace.
I don't think they will. Honestly, I don't think they will. So realistically, looking at, as of next year, looking at Houck, Bayo, Crawford, and Giolito, and Priester right now is your 5, right? Which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. I think ideally maybe Priester might be like the long man in the bullpen or AAA depth at the start of the year, right? But like as of right now, if you're looking towards next year, that's where you're kind of looking, in that sense, because Sox prospects right now. Oh, you do have Criswell, but let's be honest. I don't know if you want Cooper Criswell starting. As of right now, Sox prospects has Houck, Bayo, Crawford, and Criswell penciled into the rotation for next year. Now, this Sox prospects, how they do it, it's only people who are currently like under contract for next year in the system, no pending free agents, whatnot, right? And then they have the Red Sox as needing 2 acquisitions for the rotation. Obviously, Priester's not necessarily going to be a rotation guy next year. Necessarily, we don't know. He could be, depends, right? We're not sure, but we'll see how he does, right? Because he very well could pitch his way into that, right? And it doesn't stop them from making moves in the offseason, and that doesn't stop them from making moves now. Will Middlebrooks tweeted out, could they move Pivetta to the bullpen? Maybe, right? We've seen how well he does in the bullpen, right? So I think in that sense, like I think that it very well. What's the right way to put it?
Kopech's going to the Dodgers. What the fuck?
Oh my god, dog! That's the one team you did not need Kopech.
Damn
going
it!
to. I don't even want Kopech.
Actually, that's fine. I take that back. It's fine.
No. I don't even want him, and I'm upset he's going to the Dodgers. I don't want him anywhere near Boston, and I'm upset he's going to the Dodgers. Because it's the Dodgers. They've got something up their sleeve. They've got some random pitching lab on like underground pitching lab. Something. I don't know. That's. Well, Michael Kopech and Dustin May on the same team. You want injury-prone pitchers? There you go. Shout out the Dodgers.
Someone who's next to tear their esophagus.
Let's see. Well, the Dodgers. May's already injured. May's already out for the year.
Yeah,
so.
Torn esophagus.
Yeah, I know. Gratterall's has been on the injured list all year. Oh, Ryan Brazier's on the injured list with a strained calf. Yeah, since April. What a bum. You know what? No who's having a good year for the Dodgers, and this is infuriating.
What?
You know who's having a good year for the Dodgers?
Who?
With a 3.74 ERA, Ryan Yarbrough. The guy that the Yankees can't hit against.
Yes, sir.
I mean, his underlying metrics are not good. Do not get me wrong. But you put him against the Yankees, and it's almost a lock to win. Oh my god. The Dodgers rotation right now is Glasnow. Oh, Kershaw. Ooh, Kershaw's coming.
Glasnow, Kershaw.
I didn't even realize Kershaw pitched. I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, he did.
I am not paying attention enough.
Yep.
It's Glasnow, Kershaw, Gavin Stone, Justin Robleski, and River Ryan.
River Ryan?
Yeah, what a name.
Ryan me a river. I'm sorry.
Bu-
When fully
Bueller-
healthy, it would be Glasnow, Kershaw, Yamamoto, Gonsolin, May.
No,
Or
Bueller's been
Bueller,
asked
yeah,
this year.
fuck.
No,
Yeah.
he's been asked this year. He's not having a good year. You want
Kopech's going in the
584
3-team trade?
Yeah, to the Dodgers. Yeah.
God, the White Sox must be getting like nothing because it's the White Sox.
No, well, they're getting Vargas.
There's got to be more.
Yeah, from the White Sox. I mean, not from the Cardinals. I would assume. Oh, the Card. Ooh, that's interesting. The Cardinals do have some nice pieces. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think Tink Hence gets moved. Oh, that's interesting. I'm interested in who gets moved there.
So they got an arm.
Yes. You also remember what Breslow said about Paxton?
Yeah.
They want to make sure they get a starter. Well, now they've gotten two, right? At worst, you at least have guys that can eat innings. Because Lord knows the Red Sox need guys right now. They need guys who can just pitch. Like,
Yes.
because Quinn Priester has been better than Bailey Horn. And you know what Bailey Horn can't do? Pitch 5 innings. You know what Quinn Priester can do? Pitch 5 innings. You know what they need right now? Someone who can pitch. Because as of today, for tonight's game against the Mariners, Boozer is not pitching. Weiser, not pitching.
Bernardino, you can argue, is not pitching either.
Criswell's probably not pitching. Because they just moved him back to the bullpen. I'd be shocked if they had.
And he was on 4 days rest and he pitched.
Yeah, well, 4 days rest from 105 pitches. There's also that. Winkowski, Kelly, and Jansen probably are available. Horn probably is available, but like I think he's getting off the roster.
And they have to put
anyways.
Johan Ramirez probably
Yes,
on the
so I think
roster.
Bailey
So
Horn.
he's
I
going to
think
be.
Bailey Horn's gone today, anyways.
So Weiser's definitely gone because he pitched 42 yesterday.
I would assume, but you never know.
Like DFA'd, or not DFA'd.
No.
Option. Sorry, option.
So you do need 40-man spots though.
You have easy. You have Winkowski. You can option. You have
40-man.
oh, just DFA wing enter.
Wing enter. You need one more. Oh no!
No, you don't.
No. Ramirez is starting on the 40-man. Never mind. I'm stupid. Don't mind
wing
me.
enter. You can
Wing enter. Yeah.
Wing enter's a DFA.
Yep.
Then if you want to go deeper, you have Bailey Horn. You have
Dahlbeck.
Yeah. You're getting to the point where you need to. Brad Keller, you have. If you want to go as far as Jamie Westbrook.
Mm-hmm. The Dodgers are sending Gerald Perez, Noah Miller, and Alexander Albertus, as well as Miguel Vargas, to the White Sox.
Vargas, I understand. Vargas is kind of blocked.
Well, duh. Basically, everyone's blocked on the Dodgers. So, pipeline's not the greatest to use, but it's what we're using. Perez is their number 17. Was their number 17th ranked prospect entering the season. Noah Miller was their number 26, and Albertus was their number 23 entering the season. Perez is 19 and in low A. Albertus is 19 and in low A, and Miller is 21 and in high A. They are all infielders. Perez is listed as a second baseman. Albertus is just listed as infielder. And then Miller is listed as a shortstop / second baseman. So probably a second baseman if that's the case. So interesting. And then
yeah, they gotta. This is Cardinals are getting Pham back.
But wait, what?
Yep. Cardinals are.
Oh my god. That's in that trade. That's in that trade. That's in that trade.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. That's awesome.
Oh my god. What are they gonna do next? Get a Rosarena? Dude.
Well, we went live at a great time.
I think we did. Yeah, we've somehow hit this like nail right on the head. Somehow. Don't ask me how. But we've somehow just nailed it.
Draft Nick Mark just tweeted out White Sox turn Eric Fetty into Miguel Vargas. Amazing job by Chris Getz.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell? That's insane.
Slapdick prospect. I wonder if Brad Keller is on his way to Boston today.
Maybe. Yeah. Eat innings. Yeah.
That means Boozer's probably gonna get sent down too.
Probably. Okay, well this
just got really interesting.
wow. Okay. Yeah. Well this is wow. Damn. So yeah, other than I mean the more I start to look at it, the more I look at the Red Sox and I go, they really don't need a bat unless it's a middle infielder. Let's be honest. Like because we talked about this last night, Jason. Me and you. Yoshida's been too good.
Jordan Leandri pointed it out perfectly. He's been like one of the best Red Sox hitters since like mid-April. You can even date back to April 9th.
Yeah, no, April 19th. 19th.
Yes.
It's April 19th. And then from like June 20 something, I think it was, he's got like a 140 weighted runs, something like that. I'll go find the tweet. Because Jordan is amazing.
Jordan's a great guy.
Shout out Jordan. I'll shameless plug. Jordan and I are doing a 7-hour trade deadline live stream tomorrow on the Pesky Report Twitter.
I may or may not be joining.
Yes. So check that out. Oh, Jordan changed his profile picture. Oh my god, that's scary. I was like, who the hell is this? I gotta find this Yoshida tweet. This is gonna take a second because Jordan does tweet a lot.
This is interesting. But
yeah, I got it. So Yoshida, I'll share this with you. But
yeah, go ahead.
Yoshida, since April 19th, has a 298 average, 380 on base.
Oh, wait a second. Real quick. The Sox have a 40-man spot open.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Because they DFA'd Reese and Chase Anderson and.
Oh, dude. Fangraphs already added Quinn Priester. I love Fangraphs.
They did already?
Yeah, they already added. No, they put him in AAA on the thing because obviously.
Well, yeah.
He's probably not going to be on the active roster tonight, considering he's going to fly to Boston. But yeah. So Priester will take that last 40-man spot.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, Wingenter's still probably going to get DFA'd anyways, though.
Wingenter's probably DFA'd.
Anyways,
well, they need 2 active roster spots, one probably by tonight.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, at some point, Wingenter's getting DFA'd regardless.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because Chase Anderson's 40-man spot opened up when they DFA'd him because they couldn't send him down.
Yeah, makes sense. We talked about how Chase Anderson's role is like, for his role, he's not bad, but yeah, now it's bad.
Well, it got bad. So, yeah, so back to Yoshida. Since April 19th, this is as of the 28th. So, before last night's game. Did Yoshida play last night? No, he didn't. He didn't play last night. So this is still correct. His last 150 plate appearances dating back to April 19th. 298 average, 380 on base, 412 slugging for a 123 weighted runs created plus, which basically means he's a 23% better hitter than league average. And then, which is very good. Since June 24th, his last 95 plate appearances, 329 average, 411 on base, 451 slugging, 142 weighted runs created plus weighted runs created plus, which means he's a 42% better than average hitter, or he's 42% better than a league average hitter. So, which is really good. For reference, if you want to reference that, Rafael Devers has a 157 weighted runs created plus this year, and Tyler O'Neill, last I checked, was Tyler O'Neill's at 145. Right. So Yoshida's at the point where you really can't take him out of the lineup right now, except for against lefties you can occasionally. If you're gonna give him an off day, you prefer to do against lefties. You could say, "Oh, Yoshida hasn't hit lefties well." In his last 95 plate appearances, when he faced lefties, he's still doing solid against them. He's not like he's done bad against them in his last 95 plate appearances, right? It was just he had such a rough start to the season, and then he got hurt, obviously. But like I said, over his last 150 plate appearances, and especially his last 95, he's been very good. And like I said, to the point where you got to play him almost every day.
Yeah.
So that takes up your DH spot. When Casas is healthy, that's your first baseman, right?
You probably say bye-bye to Dom Smith.
Probably. Depends on what they do.
But what are you going to do with Dom Smith?
Depends on what they do at the deadline, how many pieces they add.
True.
Because let's say they don't find a bat, right? And they just add pitching, right? When Casas comes back, you could put Dom Smith on the bench. Jamie Westbrook's going to go back down to AAA.
He might get DFA'd for all what it's worth.
Yeah. And then
he did not look good yesterday.
And then when Grissom's ready, Grissom's looked better in AAA as of now. He seems to be healthy, which is the big thing. They got to get him healthy. But once if he's 100%, which seems like he is, Grissom might just take Romy Gonzalez's roster spot, and they could put Dom Smith on the bench. I'm not saying they will do that, but they very well could, right? And
yeah.
I know Dom struggled a little bit since the All-Star break, but before the All-Star break, he had a very solid, month-long stretch, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to keep Dom Smith. But what I'm saying is, let's not pencil in the fact that Dom Smith's going to go right away, because he might not, right? And then, because, but hypothetically, right, Casas comes back, he plays first, right? Grissom helps with the middle infield situation so you basically would have Grissom, Hamilton, and Rafaela rotating through the middle infield, plus hopefully an extra piece, but we'll get to that. Then your outfield's obviously set with Duran, O'Neill, and then Abreu and Refsnyder platooning, and then you would have Yoshida DHing. And then Wong and Jansen rotate through the catcher, and then when guys need off days, you just move a couple guys around. Maybe Jansen DHs, maybe Yoshida gets an off day, right? Maybe Wong plays first base to get a day, right? Heck, I know they haven't done it, but you could put Yoshida in left field for a game here and there, right? I don't see why that would hurt to do it for a couple games here and there. Don't do it every day, but if you don't want to, I get it. I get not wanting to do it every day, but you need to give guys off days. I mean, I don't see why not. Yeah, you could still just play Refsnyder, but if you need the DH spot for someone else, it shouldn't be, let's give Yoshida an off day 3 days of the week because we want to, have Danny Jansen or Connor Wong DH.
Or they might need to do it with O'Neill.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying, though. So, if you put Yoshida in left field 1 game a week, right? Or 1 game every other week, how much is that really going to hurt you? You can defensive replacement late in games if you need to, right? So, like, I mean, I personally don't see why he couldn't play left field, right? I don't see why not. But his bat has been good. He's at the point where you can't just only play him 2 times a week, right? They got to play him the majority of games. But and so the Red Sox are still in a good spot, right? They still need a pitcher. I think. I think they still need a pitcher.
They still need a pitcher that's
For
gonna.
sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Priester is not like their pitcher acquisition, right? Priester was more opportunity and the fact that he kind of fits.
He became available, and Breslow saw, and the Red Sox saw the opportunity to add some pitcher who had term. That's what the move was.
Yes. And
it wasn't to improve the team immediately. It was for Nick Yorke, who was A, blocked, and B,
had
probably had it. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you get a guy in Priester form, makes sense, right?
And Priester was a top 100 prospect. Nick Yorke was not, but he was but I will say Yorke was a borderline top 100.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yorke at one point was the top 100 early on, but yeah, recently he hasn't really been top 100 discussion. There were rumors he might sneak back towards getting close to it, but I don't think he's probably going to be a top 100 prospect. Doesn't mean he can't be a good big leaguer, but yeah, I think that they're kind of in a good spot to still go and nab a pitcher, right? A reliever. I would like a reliever. If they can get a starter, go ahead, but I'm not banking on it just because it seems like the starter market is going to start heating up. I believe how I feel like the starter market's going to heat up and cause the price for a starter to increase, while the reliever market's going to start to cool down a little bit, I think. Once Scott goes, we'll
get a better sense. We'll get a better sense for when Scott gets traded.
But once the big guys go, if a team gets Tanner Scott, the odds of them going after another reliever that's like going to cost a little, like that's not going to cost, that's going to cost at least a little bit. The odds of it is a lot lower, right? So hypothetically, let's say the Orioles bring back Scott, right? Or the Marlins end up trading Scott to the Yankees, right? If the Yankees get Tanner Scott, are they really going to be in play for another reliever?
Maybe.
But not someone around.
Not someone of like that caliber, obviously.
Exactly. So the team starts thinning out, and someone I've been on Dylan Floro. The Yankees aren't going to go get Dylan Floro. The Yankees aren't even going to get a Dylan Floro after they go get a Tanner Scott. Right? They get Tanner Scott, and they're looking at their team, and they're going, okay,
shit.
They'd be kind of set.
The Noah Miller is not in the three-way package.
Oh.
Whoa.
Okay. Well, misreporting.
or there's another trade coming.
No, he's not in the deal at all.
No, I'm saying in a separate trade.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be. That's confusing.
That's something to keep your eye out for.
And, yeah, a little confusing, but yeah. But if you're the Yankees and you get Tanner Scott, you have Holmes, you have Scott, right? And then you're looking at your bullpen that's out of the guys who are healthy. Luke Weaver's been solid this year. Has been very solid this year. Canely has been good. Tonkin has been good for the most part.
Michael Tonkin?
Yeah, he's been solid for the most part for the Yankees. Yeah, he's been solid for the most part. 3.12 ERA, solid middle reliever, right? Not like back end guy, but you start looking through their bullpen. Their spot. Jake Cousins has been solid while he's been in the big leagues, right? So you start looking at their guys and their spots in the bullpen. You get Tanner Scott, which is the lefty they desperately need since they don't have Wandy Peralta this year.
There's not
much. You know what I mean? There's only so many bullpen spots you do have. So trading for a big league, like a legitimate big league reliever, starts to get Baltimore, same thing, right? They have Kimbrel, they have Cano, they have Sir Anthony Dominguez, they have Sionel Perez, they have Jacob Webb, they have Keegan Aiken. Like, how, like they're how many bullpen spots can you have, right? You only get so many. And I think that's the thing that with it where yeah, Baltimore could go get a Tanner Scott or even someone else, but once they get one, how like the odds of them getting a second, well, they already get Sir Anthony Dominguez, so the odds of them getting a third guy, right, are not that high. I think that's what I mean more so. Like, you go get Tanner Scott, and they're probably out. They're not gonna probably go after like a Kyle Finnegan or whoever it is, right? So once Scott goes, once some of the other kind of high end guys, relievers, Finnegan, etc., right? You go down the line of the high end relievers available. Guys like a Dylan Floro who are still valuable but not at that level. The asking price for them is going to start cooling down, in my opinion, because less teams are going to be in on them.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Floro's not going to be the next reliever to go. He's not going to be the next reliever to be traded.
not necessarily. Probably. I mean, is there a chance? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but Floro very likely is not going to be the next reliever to be traded. He's going to be traded most likely after all the big names are traded, and the teams who didn't get one of those big guys now need someone, right? And there's going to be probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 relievers who are going to be like that. So it's not like all these teams are going to be in on the same guy. Teams will go after different guys, and that'll bring the reliever market back to earth. Whereas the starter market, there's so few guys. Once those guys are gone, there's really no one left. With the reliever market, once the top guys are gone, there's still guys there.
Yeah, it sets it sets the bar, literally.
Yeah. Like once Flaherty's off the board, unless you're getting a Schoolball or Crochet, which I don't think either of them are getting traded, who are you going to get? Like, who's the guy? Who are you getting? Like,
I really think
doesn't look like the Angels are going to trade Tyler Anderson. And I don't even think he's that great, honestly. I think he's overperforming. Like, Fetty's just came off the board. Who are you going to get? Oh, Eovaldi, maybe? If he gets
didn't
traded?
the Rangers they just traded away Lorenzen. They traded away Lorenzen, but they're expecting Scherzer.
Yeah. No, I know. But Lorenzen's also a rental, right? Full-blown rental. Eovaldi isn't necessarily a rental, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, who are you going to get? What starter are you going to get if you don't get Flaherty? If you don't get, like...
You're not going to.
Exactly, right? So the price on starters is going to stay high. Because there's, like, even, like... I don't know. Who's someone who could get traded? I almost said Severino, and then I realized, oh, crap, no, the Mets are in the playoff race now. Like, that's the thing. I'm looking through, like, some, like, Bassett, who, don't get me wrong,
hold on a minute. Nah, no, keep going. Fuck it. It's from Scoops. Nah, he sucks. He sucks.
But like Bassett, like, you're gonna get Bassett? Like, cool, you can go get Bassett, but like outside of Flaherty, Bassett, like I said, who are these teams gonna be able to get? Eflin, maybe, right? Cal Quantrill. Like, the options are very thin for starting pitching. Yeah. I don't think Toronto's trading Gausman.
No, they can't trade. They cannot trade. What's his face? Bassett. That's just an albatross contract.
Yeah, they could trade Bassett.
But it's more so of an issue for next year.
Yeah, no, I know. But what I'm saying is like I say, who's gonna get traded, right? What starting pitcher are these teams gonna get? Like, Fetty's off the board. Crochet and Schoolball probably aren't happening. I mean, yeah, Trevor Williams has had a good year with Washington, but like, is that the guy you're gonna get? Like, really? You know what I mean? I think the starter market's gonna heat up, and I think the reliever market's gonna cool down. I think when we get right up to the deadline, I think it's gonna like flip. Like I said, once the Scotts are gone, once Tanner Scott's gone, once Finnegan is dealt, once all those high end relievers are gone, the kind of guys that you like to have to be maybe not like the elite setup man, but like the sixth, seventh inning guys who can be an eighth inning guy if you need him. Or even maybe even the seventh, eighth inning guys, right? Those guys that are gonna come, that prices for those guys are gonna come back to earth because you can get there's a lot of good relievers in baseball. You can go get good relievers, right?
Right.
And you, like I said, there's only so many bullpen spots on these good teams. Most of these good teams have good bullpens already. So, like a Dylan Floro, who I've been just like, I want Floro, basically. You know this. I've been telling you this for almost a month. I want Dylan Floro. A guy like that, I don't think he's not gonna. His price isn't gonna be obnoxiously high,
Yeah.
right? It's also too because he is a rental and he's not a closer.
Yeah.
You got to think. That's what I think.
Your
But
boy Dingler just got called up.
oh my god. That is an elite name. That is an elite name. Dylan Dingler getting called up by the Tigers. Cotillo said the Red Sox weren't aggressive on Ty France.
Makes
I'm
sense.
so happy he went to the Reds. Now I can have a central time zone team. I like last year when the Reds called up Ellie De La Cruz. I was like, oh, maybe I should hop on the bandwagon. But I'm like the Diamondbacks are playing good enough where it was like, it's like I'm just gonna watch the Diamondbacks. But like now that I don't know. I figured like it would now with like the pitch clock really being like shortening games. I can watch the Red Sox game and then catch a Reds game and it still be in like the third inning or fourth inning depending on the game, right? Depending on how it goes, third, fourth, fifth inning. Or I could just watch the Reds game on like my laptop as the Red Sox are playing. So I needed a central team. I was already leaning Reds, and then I love Ty France. I mean, would have loved it more if the Red Sox would have got him, but
Wait.
it was never going to be the Diamondbacks, and so I'll take the Reds. And I get a new Central Time Zone team.
Wait. What? Christopher Morel weighs 145 pounds.
No, he doesn't. That ain't true.
Do you see that?
Guarantee that? No, I know I guarantee it's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, I guarantee that's not true.
How long do you want to go live till?
Whenever you're good, we've kind of covered everything, honestly.
Should we just wait?
I'd say we'd give it 5 more minutes, but as we kind of close, then we'll kind of close. If anything happens, then we'll kind of jump on that. But we'll say that we have the Mariner series. This is a very important series for the Red Sox. So I do want to touch on it quickly. If you look in the wild card race, the Red Sox are only a game out. Somehow they're only a game out.
Oh, yeah,
but,
with all the crap that happened over the past 2
know.
weeks.
I know. But the Mariners now are only half a game behind them. The Rays actually are only 2 games behind the Red Sox, and they're selling, which is kind of crazy. But the Red Sox only a game out, but only half a game ahead of the Mariners. If you're the Red Sox, you kind of gonna win 2 out of 3 this series.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be tough. The Mariners have Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and George
Wait,
Kirby.
what? Hold on. Listen to this MLB Scoops. Red Sox are quote unquote desperate to move Masataka Yoshida.
That's a lie.
That's such a lie.
That's an absolute lie.
Well, I understand why they might be interested, but not desperate. Unless they have a Yandy Diaz trade and they want to get rid of. No, I'm kidding. No, that's not happening.
They're not trading Yoshida. No chance. Can I go make a bet that the Red Sox aren't trading Yoshida?
Sure.
But no. This series is important. Like I said, the Mariners have Gilbert, Castillo, and Kirby going. The Red Sox have Pivetta, James Paxton, and Brian Bayo. Big start for Pivetta. We know how he's been. It's a good start, bad start, good start, bad start. This should be a good start for him based on the last couple starts, but you never know. Paxton, first game this year with the Red Sox. Obviously, they brought him back coming over from the Dodgers, and then I think it's a big start for Bayo as well, going against Kirby.
They're facing the same guys they faced in March and April.
Yeah.
Or March. Because it was 28, 29, 30, 31.
Yeah.
So March.
Yeah. Now they do have an off day on Thursday before they play the Rangers, but after the Rangers, they oh my god, I can't speak. They then go and play Kansas City, right? And that's in Kansas City, and projected as of now, they're gonna get Walker. They're gonna get Waka, Singer, and Lugo, and the Sox would have Paxton, Bayo, and Crawford as of now, going into that series. So
over under 5 starts for Priester this year.
Under. I think there's a chance they might just send him to Worcester to work on stuff. Because, like I said, I assume they're going to want to change some things with him.
So you think there's a chance I think he might start in AAA now?
Maybe, yeah. He has options. He's already burned his second option this year, so there's no, it's not like you're burning an option.
There's got to be a move before today's game now.
Oh, yeah, Yohan Ramirez.
Can they wait or no? I don't know how that works.
I would assume it would be today, though. I would just assume.
Even though they're still fucking gassed.
The Red Sox haven't officially announced the trade, on their own, Twitter account.
It's reported, yeah.
Yeah, so. But yeah, the Red Sox, I think they need to win 2 out of 3 this series. I don't think they need. I think they I shouldn't say I don't think they need to. They do need to. Screw it. They do need to win 2 out of 3 this series. They want to keep in charge of. They want to stay in charge of this wild card race. They need to win 2 out of 3 here. Go to Texas, win that series, and then they need to take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. They need to win series, especially these next series. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. The next 10 days, they play 9 games. I think they got to win at least 6.
Yeah. I'm with you. They got to win.
All right. Well,
that's fun.
That's kind of it. Live podcast here on a Twitter space. You can obviously, if you're listening to this, you're listening to the podcast version that we have uploaded. You missed the live space. Live space started Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We might do this again, so keep your eyes open on our social media. And yeah, a lot of fun. And if you're listening to this, it'll probably be deadline day when you're listening to this. So sorry you missed out. There's probably other things. Things have probably changed from what you've heard us say. But we appreciate you listening. And one last thing, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Dude, sign off.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Go Sox.